So guys, in last class we have completed the life cycles concept. So now guys, next we have to go for the concept that is auto wiring. Yes, next we have to go for the concept guys that is auto wiring. So till now guys, if you remember, if we want to inject one object inside another object, we used to do it explicitly. Yes, till now we used to, now if you want to inject one object inside another object, we used to do it explicitly. But now we want that the object, like one object should be injected inside another object automatically, that is implicitly. Yes, so till now guys, we have learned how we can inject one object into another object. So we used to do explicitly. Yes, we used to explicitly by using, yes, by using reference, by using a reference tag. If you remember guys, in last class, last class, if you want to inject one object inside another object, we used to perform it explicitly using reference tag. But now if you want to perform implicitly, even it is possible guys. Yes, even you can perform the auto wiring implicitly, in the sense IOC container will do auto wiring for us. Yes, even if you want, you can give the responsibility of wiring to IOC container. So now what IOC container will do, will perform this auto wiring implicitly. So let's say we have two class. Let's say we have two class A and class B. Yes, so what we used to do, we used to make use of bean here, bean class, and here we used to pass its fully qualified class name. Next we used to give a name. Yes, we used to give, let's say, name equals to something. We used to give name of this particular thing. For this class also, what we used to do, we used to pass a bean class equals to, here we used to pass fully qualified class name, and for this bean we used to give some name. Yes, this much we used to do previously. Now let's say here A is dependent on, B. If A is dependent on B, then A need object of B, so what we have to do, we have to create the object, of B, and we have to inject in A class. Yes, here guys, if let's say we have two class and here A is dependent on B, so what we have to do, we have to create the object of B and we have to inject in A class. So that we used to perform it explicitly by using a tag reference. So we can use here value reference equals to, and we used to pass this particular name here. If you remember guys, we used to pass this particular name. Yes, and then we used to close the bin tag. So previously we used to perform, wiring, in the sense we used to inject one object inside another object like this. So we used to make use of one tag, basically value reference, or heads up you can pass ref equals to, and we used to pass the name. But even Spring Hibernate will give facility to perform wiring by itself. That is, IOC container can take responsibility to perform wiring. That is, IOC container can inject one object inside another object automatically, that is implicitly. So what is auto wiring? In the sense, auto wiring feature of Spring framework enables you to inject the object dependency implicitly. So if we have a feature in case of Spring framework, we have a feature that is we can inject one object inside another object automatically, that is implicitly. So that will be done by IOC container. So just we have to provide, you want to inject one object, particular B object to which class, A object to which class. So here IOC container will take a responsibility and it will inject the object. So basically guys, let's say till now, what type of injection we used to perform? So that was nothing but we used to inject one object inside another object manually by using ref tag, but even it can be done automatically. So let's say if if A is dependent on B, then obviously A wants object of B. So here object of B can be injected inside class A automatically by IOC container. So what is auto wiring Spring? In the sense, in case of auto wiring, IOC container will take the responsibility and IOC container will inject the object to a class wherever it is required. And to inject this object automatically, IOC container can make use of setter injection, or IOC container can make use of constructor injection. Yes, if IOC container is going to inject one object inside another object, this IOC container can make use of two types of injection. It can be setter injection or it can be constructor injection. Now, but there is main drawback. there is a main disadvantage of auto wiring is that this auto wiring can be performed. Yes, this auto wiring can be performed only for object type. Only for object type, or you can say this auto wiring cannot be done, or auto wiring cannot be used to inject primitive and string value. So by using auto wiring, we cannot inject primitive or string value. It is applicable for object. So you can say it works only for reference. It works only for reference. So guys, very basic point. What is auto wiring? In case of auto wiring, IOC container will take the responsibility to inject one object inside another object. So this type of injection or this type of wiring is known as auto wiring, because here user will not write any code. Here user is not going to write any specific code to inject. So just we have to specify where to inject, like which class needs the object of another class. Just we have to specify. So here IOC container will inject the object implicitly by themselves. Yes. So this type of wiring is known as auto wiring. So basically, whenever IOC container is able to inject one object inside another object, this type of dependency injection you can say is known as auto wiring. So basically, guys, this auto wiring is possible only for reference type. That is only for object type. We cannot perform auto wiring for primitive type or string type. It is applicable only for reference type. Now guys, can you tell me what can be the advantage of auto wiring? Since whenever we go for auto wiring, we will not write any code explicitly. That is the main advantage. And you can say the length of code will be reduced. Yes, so it requires, whenever we go for auto wiring, it requires the less code, because we are not going to write any specific code for injection dependency or for dependency injection. Now what can disadvantage? No control of programmer. Whenever IOC container is going to perform auto wiring, then there is no control of programmer over it. It will be done by IOC container itself. So first disadvantage, no control of programmer. And you can say second disadvantage, guys, it is applicable. This auto wiring is not applicable, or let's say it is yes, this auto wiring is not applicable for primitive and string value. This auto wiring is not applicable for primitive and string value. So main advantage, guys, length of code will be reduced, because to inject one object inside another object, we are not going to write any code explicitly. It will be done by IOC container itself. Now what can disadvantage in the sense? So main disadvantage, no control of the programmer. Second disadvantage, it cannot be used for primitive and string value. It cannot be used for primitive and string value. So guys, we have some. So again, this auto wiring can be done in two ways. Again, this auto wiring can be done in two ways. So we can perform this auto wiring by using XML. Yes, we can perform this auto wiring by using XML, and even we can perform this auto wiring by using annotation. Yes, we can perform this auto wiring by XML, or we can perform this auto wiring using annotation. So guys, whenever we are going to perform auto wiring by using XML, we have some mode. We have some modes. So first mode is nothing but, you can say no. Second is nothing but by name. Third is by type. Third is by type. Fourth is constructor. But constructor. And fifth is your automated or auto detect. Auto detect. And this auto wiring can be performed in two different ways, that is by using XML and by using annotation. Now, whenever we are going to perform auto wiring, by using XML, we have different mode. First is no. So by default, this auto wiring will be no. That is, it is not enabled. Yes, this auto wiring is not enabled by default. Yes. So second type is by name. Now, in case of by name mode, so what IOC container will do? It will search the dependency according to name of the bean. Yes, in case of by name, the IOC container is going to search the dependency based on name of the bean. In this type of case, in such case, property name and bean name must be same. So since here compiler, that is IOC container, will search, or IOC container will inject the dependency according to the name. So here, name of the bean, and property name must be same. Yes, and it can call. So basically, by name it will call. By name internally it calls setter method or setter injection. So by name it calls setter injection. Next comes your by type. So in case of by type, In case of by type, IOC container is going to inject the object based on the type. Yes, here IOC container will inject the object based on type. So in case of by type, IOC container will not search. IOC container will not search name of the bin and name of property. It will just search type of property. So these things we discuss, guys, once we'll go for program. No need to worry, just I'm explaining it theoretically. Next, coming about constructor. So in case of constructor mode, dependency will be injected. Yeah, dependency will be injected with the help of constructor. And in case of constructor type, the constructor having, yeah, in case of constructor type, by default, by type injection will be called. So don't worry, what are these things? I know theoretically you will not get the concept. So once we go for practically, you will get the concept, guys. But I hope what is auto wiring, what is the advantage of auto wiring, next what is the disadvantage, and in how many ways we can perform. You got the basic idea at least. Once we'll go for program, you will get a clear picture, guys. So you got the basic idea, guys. Whatever different modes we have discussed, no, by name, by type, constructor, I'll give all these points and then we'll discuss these things. So just copy down. Okay, so guys, now let us learn the things practically. So fine, guys, let us create a new package and there we will write this program. So let's say I'll create a class. So obviously, guys, if you want to perform the dependency injection, then at least you should have two classes, minimum two classes required. Then only you can inject the dependency. So what I'll do, I'll create a class storage. And let's say the package I'm going to give from.jsp dot, yeah, auto wiring. From.jsp dot auto wiring. And then I'll click on finish. So one class has been created. Let us create one more class. So obviously, guys, each and every student need a certificate. Each and every student need a certificate. So here, for student certificate is required. So you can say student is dependent on certificate. So I'll create a class and I'll say certificate. Certificate, I'll click on finish. So currently, guys, we have created two classes, that is certificate and student. And here, student class required certificate, or student is dependent on certificate. So we have created two class. Let me create main class, test class as well. So let's say I'll copy this from any of the packages. Similarly, let us create a config file. So I'll copy from any of the packages as well. Yeah, next. Let us open these two. And let us rename the package, this configuration file name as well. So right click and see, now later you can do it, guys. Once you understand the concept, you can do it easily. So I'll give auto config.xml. All of this, you know, don't do now. Yeah, later you can practice the things. Next, in app class, what I do, I'll just remove these unwanted things. Yeah. So now these are the basic things ready. Now we have to proceed with the programming. So first, let us go to certificate class and declare some property. So I'll say private string certificate name, that is C name. Similarly, private string, let's say private double certification duration, or let's say C duration, I think it's fine. C duration, certificate duration. Like if you want to certified with Java, you need 3 months. Like that, I'm going to consider one name as well as duration, guys. Now let us declare constructor as well as getters and setters. Okay, so let us declare first getters and setters. So copy this, paste here. Yeah, that's it. Now let us proceed with toString method. And if you want, you can declare a constructor as well. So let's declare a constructor. This will be empty, nothing will be there here. Fine, let us similarly declare the toString method so that we can print the reference, we'll get the value. Yes, for this particular class, we have declared everything. Similarly, let us go back to student class, and actually student is dependent on certificate. So I'll say private certificate certi. Private certificate certi. Here also let us declare what getters. Let us declare getters and setters for this class as well. We have only one property. Select the certi, click on OK. Okay, so let us paste it up because first we need property, then getters and setters. Similarly, declare a constructor as well. Declare a constructor. Okay, so currently, guys, you can see I have declared the argumented constructor so that if we want, with the help of constructor injection, also we can inject the object of certificate in the student class. Yes, so I have declared a argument constructor. Similarly, declare a no argument constructor as well. So these things you have to do, declare the constructor and so many things. Now let's say I'll give in constructor, I'll give a statement injecting the property using constructor. Using constructor. Spelling might be wrong, guys. Just ignore it. We are learning programming, not spellings. Yeah, we're not learning in LKG class. So let's say setting the properties using setter method. So let's give s as lowercase letter setter method. Yeah, these things are done. Let me declare a two-string method as well. And just click on OK. Yeah, these things are done, guys. So now we have to perform auto wiring, in the sense, yeah, we have to perform wiring basically, and then we have to say to the compiler or IOC container to perform auto wiring. So we'll open our configuration file, and so guys, let's see. If you want to perform this wiring explicitly, then what we have to do, we have to make use of one attribute, that is reference being equals to this thing, and then we have to perform the injection. Yes, like this. If you want to inject, if you want to do it explicitly, we have to specify this ref b for this particular fa bin. But since we are doing it implicitly, that is done by compiler or IOC container, so no need to worry about that. So hold on, I'm getting an error. Oh, no error. So let us take a bean first. Let us take a bean. So first I'm going to insert the property of, yes, first I'll insert the property of certificate, and then I'll inject the certificate reference into the class student. So let's say bean class equals to, and pass the fully qualified class name, even let's say name equals to. So here I'm going to give name as certi itself, name as certi itself. Now let's say here I need to pass the fully qualified class name. So let us go back to this particular class, copy the fully qualified class name and paste it and paste in this particular thing. These are the basic concepts we discussed long back. So I'm going a little fast, guys. I hope you will get the concept. So I'm going to use P schema. So I'll say P colon, and let us set the property. So course name equals to double quote. Similarly, P colon course duration. So let us copy and paste this particular thing, guys. Otherwise, if you will write each and everything, we might do spelling mistakes. So that I don't want. Equals to, let's say duration is 1.5 month. Okay, 2.5 month, guys. 2.5 month, and the course will be hibernate and string. Hibernate and strings. Yeah, these are the course or certification you want. So minimum you need 2 months, no doubt at all. 2.5 month, guys. Now this is done. So now we have created the bean. We have created the bean, or we have created the object for certificate. Similarly, let us create a bean for class student. So I'll say bean class equals to, and I'll pass in double quotes. Yeah, fully qualified class name. So let us copy and pass a fully qualified class name, guys. All of you look here. Later you can do it. I'll give sufficient time. But first you just look here, all of you. Let us pass the fully qualified class name, and let us give a name here. Name equals to. Let us give a name here, guys. Name equals to. Yeah, let's say name. I can give anything. So let's say stud1. Stud1. Yes, I'll take here stud1, and here I'll close this particular bean. Here I'll close this particular bean. Okay, I'm getting an error. Hold on just a second. Just a second. Okay, double equal to I pass. Okay. Yeah. So now, guys, what are different types of auto wiring mode we have, or what are different types of auto wiring mode we have in case of XML? So basically, these are the types we have. Yes, these are the types we have. So first is your no. So by default, as I said, it is by default auto wiring mode will be disabled. Yes, in the sense by default it is no, so we cannot perform auto wiring. So we have to enable it. So by default it will be mode will be no. So next you can perform the auto wiring in basically 4-5 ways, but by default this is no. Next you can go for by name, or you can go for by type, or you can go for constructor, or you can go for auto detect. So guys, whenever you will go for by name, then you have to remember the by name mode injects the object dependency according to the name of field. Yes, so in case of by name, what compiler will do, it will search the name of bean, and it will search the name of property which you are going to inject. If the name of bean and if the name of property is same, then only IOC container will inject the property. If name is different, then it will give you left and right. It will give you left and right, or let's say compiler will store null value. Compiler will store null value. So first is by name. So in case of by name, what compiler will do, guys? In case of by name, object dependency will be injected according to the name of bean and name of property. So guys, what property we have here? Yes, let's go back. What property we want to inject? So if you can see guys, in this student class, we want to inject certi. So this is nothing but certificate is nothing but is a property. Yes, certificate is nothing but it is a property. So certi is the variable. So in case of by name, this property name and bean name should be same. If name is different, then compiler will assign null value or it will give left and right. So basically this particular name and this name, this bean name should be same. If name is different, then compiler will assign null value. So in case of by name, so what we will do, we will go with by name itself. So we will say here auto wire. We will say guys auto wire, and we will pass here by. So by default it will default itself. So we are not going to discuss no mode. We are not going to discuss. So we will say auto wire by, and you can see you are getting here two options. You are getting here two options, by name and by type. So first we will see by name. So that's what I said guys. In case of by name dependency injection, so in what we are going to inject guys, we are going to inject the certificate into student. We are going to inject certificate into student. So what is the certificate bean name? It's certi. So this name should be same as this property. This name and that bean name should be same. If the name is different, the compiler will give you left and right ways. So you have to provide same bean name as well as same property name. So that's it. If you want to perform guys auto wiring, just you have to specify this particular property here. Just you have to specify here this particular property. No need to make use of one tag and then we have to say reference and all. Just you have to say this much. So the time you will say this, compiler will get to know there is one entity student. Student wants the object of certificate, and this certificate bean will be injected inside this reference. So here compiler will get to know, and here you are going to specify auto wire. So auto wire by name. So here compiler will check this bean name and compiler will check this property. Compiler will check this bean name which we have to inject, and it will take the property name as well. If it is same, then only it will be injected. Otherwise, it will assign null value or it may give an error. So let us proceed. We have created a class, configuration is done. Now we have to go for main class. So let us create the object here, certificate first. Certificate C equals to context dot. Actually, the certificate is not required, but that's okay. Get beans. Okay. Semicolon. So let us pass the bean name and class name as well. So class name is certificate dot class, and here we have to pass the bean name. So what bean name we have specified here? It's certi here. It's certi. And if you want, just print it, this out, and print the C. Just to differentiate, give a divider, guys. Okay, so it's out. Then let's say what another name we have, student. Student S equals to context dot get beans basically, and we'll pass here what is the bean name, and here we have to pass the class name. I hope these things we discussed long back. You don't have any doubt in this. Student dot class. You're not having any doubt, I hope. So next bean name. What is the bean name? It's student1. Stud1. Let us pass as stud1, and let us print this reference as well. Yeah, even guys, we have to change this configuration file name. Yes, even we have to change this configuration file name. So no need to write it, just right click on this configuration name and select this copy qualified name and just go and paste here. But you have to remove few things here. Just you have to pass the package name, no need to give the complete name. So just paste it here, and before whatever you have, just remove it. Yes, that's it. Our work is done. I hope we will not get any error. Let's see what's happening basically here. Now coming about this by name, in case of by name AutoWire, it will make use of setter injection internally. It makes use of setter injection automatically or internally. Let us proceed and execute. If you will get any error, we'll solve it. So guys, you can see. So since we have used by name, so internally setter injection has been called. So you can see setting the property using setter method. Now one object has been created. You can see guys, one object has been created, and in the object name is certificate, and this property has been injected here. Similarly, one more object has been created, and inside the student object, certificate object has been injected here. So you can see we have student, and with the help of this certi reference, this certificate object has been injected here. So this is nothing but guys, this is nothing but your by name Autowire dependency injection. By name Autowire dependency injection. Now I'll go back to configuration file and I'll change these names. I'll change the bean name and property name. So let's say the bean name is cert, CERT. It is cert. Now I'll execute this. So guys, currently we are using by name auto wiring. So it will check if the name are different, if the bean name and property name is different, then the property won't be injected. Then the property won't be injected. So it will give you an error. So let us see and execute. Let us execute the thing. So right click, done as Java application. So you can see it is throwing an error here. It is telling no bean name CERT level. No bean CERT level. So that's what if we are going to make use of by name. So it will check the property name as well as it will check the bean name. If these two matches, then only object will be injected. Otherwise, it will throw an. Guys, is it clear? First type, is it clear, guys? Fine, guys. So next is your. This is was by name. Next is your by type. So guys, coming about by type. Yeah. Coming about by type here, name of property and name of bean can be different. Here, by type, name of property and name of bean can be different because here dependency will be injected according to the type, not according to the name. So here, name of property and name of bean can be different. And again here, it is going to call your setter method. Again, it is going to call the setter method. So let us go back and let us see how it works actually. Yeah. So guys, nothing great. I won't remove this and just comment this part. So let's say I'll comment this part. Now similarly, I do copy paste here and instead of this by name, I'll give here by type. By type. Okay, it's doing an error. Fine. By type. You can see this is the 5 measure we have. Yeah. By type. Now the time I'm using by type, what I do, I'll change the name. I'll change the name. I'll say cert. I'll say CERT. So since this time the name is different and we are using by type, then nothing will, like, it won't be affected automatically. While compiler will get to know this time, yes, this time user don't want to inject based on name, they wants to inject based on type. So automatically this particular bean will be injected inside this object. So let us execute and let's see the output. So here you will get the output whatever we are getting previously. Okay, we are getting some error. Just a second. No bean name. Okay, so here we are getting an error, guys. CERT we have to give. Yeah, in main class. So now let's say. Yes, you can see we are getting output. We are getting output. Here name was given same, but getting out. Still we are getting output. And as I said, in case of by type also setter injection will be called. By type also, guys, setter injection will be called. Yes, is it clear, guys? Okay. So let us go for constructor type now. Let us go for constructor type. So guys, in case of constructor, you can read the point. The constructor mode injects the dependency by calling constructor of the class. So in case of constructor mode, the property will be injected based on constructor type. And basically, in case of constructor mode, it calls the constructor which is having larger number of parameters. It will call the constructor which is having larger number of parameters or which has more argument, which has maximum number of argument. So what we will do, guys, just and we will change it to constructor type. We will change it to constructor type. So let me comment this part as well. And here we'll say constructor mode. Something like this I'm going to give. Okay, the spelling mistake, guys, you can correct it. Constructor mode. And here instead of Autowire by type, we'll say constructor. We'll say constructor. So here obviously property will be injected or one object will be injected inside another object based on constructor with the help of constructor. Basically this program, guys, if you remember, we were setting the property using setter, but this time if I execute, we will get setting the property using constructor because we are using here constructor. Yeah, constructor mode. So here constructor will inject the property. You can see injecting the property using constructor and we can see the value. And again, inside student object, certificate has been injected. And you can see, guys, in this class, we had two constructors. In student class, guys, we had two constructors. First is no argument constructor and second is argument constructor. So this particular constructor has not been invoked. This constructor has been invoked because just now we discussed it calls the constructor which has larger number of parameters. So obviously compared to the first one, second constructor has larger number. It is not having any parameter, it contains one parameter. This particular constructor has been invoked and object has been injected. So guys, this also execute fast. Just you have to change it, that's it. Instead of auto wire by type, just give constructor type and just execute this. This is all about we can perform auto wiring with the help of XML. Similarly, guys, you can perform auto wiring with the help of annotation. You can perform auto wiring with the help of annotation. So what I'll do, I'll remove this auto wire type. Or what else you can do, guys? Just you can comment each and everything here. Just you can comment each and everything. Or let's say I'll just remove this thing. I'll just remove these things. So currently, guys, I want to perform auto wiring. Yes, I want to perform auto wiring with the help of annotation. So guys, coming about auto wiring with the help of annotation, it can be done. Basically, we can use to perform auto wiring annotation. Yeah, if you want to perform auto wiring with the help of annotation, so you have to use, yes, you have to make use of annotation that is auto wired. So by using auto wired annotation, you can specify to IOC container to perform auto wiring among the classes. Yes, so here just you have to make use of one annotation that is auto wired. That is auto wired. So this auto wired annotation can be used. This auto wired annotation can be used just before property name. Yes, it can be used just before property name, or you can say just before property name, or just before constructor, or just before reference name. So this auto wired annotation, guys, it can be used just before property name, or just before setters, or just before constructor name. So yes, let us go back and perform these things first. So if you want to perform auto wiring with the help of annotation, guys, then you have to use, don't copy anything, don't take any point, don't execute anything, just see here first. So this auto wired annotation can be used at the three places. It can be used just before the property name, or you can use just before the setter, or you can use just before the constructor. Yes, it can be used anywhere. So let's say if you want to perform auto wire, so you can see, guys, I remove this particular annotation auto wire from this class. So I'll go back and just before the reference name, I'll say auto wired. But the time you will use here auto, yeah, auto wired annotation, then compiler or IOC container will get to know user wants to inject certificate property inside student, or user wants to inject certificate object inside student. So just you have to use here auto wired, and yes, our work is done. Nothing else we have to do. Our work is done. So let us go back and execute this. Okay, but you can see, guys, one object has been created. One object has been created. So the object contains certificate and these many things are there. Now you can see inside a student class, we have a reference certi. Yes, inside the student class, we have a reference certi, but the certi reference is pointing to null. Yes, the certi reference is pointing to null. Why, guys? Why the certi reference is pointing to null? Why this object certificate has not been injected? Yes, see, we have used annotation. We have used one annotation that is auto wire. So compiler will get to know this object certificate should be injected inside student class. These many things we have completed, but still you can see, guys, in the console, we are not getting the output. Object has not been injected. Yes, certificate object has not been injected, guys. Why like that we are getting the output, guys? Can anyone tell me why this object has not been injected here? By default, in the, yes, in case of strings, all the annotations will be disabled. So what we have to do, we have to enable it. So if you want to enable the, yes, if you want to enable the annotation, we have to make use of one property tag. We have to make use of one property. So the property name is context colon annotation config. Context colon annotation config. So that we have to specify. Yes, that we need to specify where that we need to specify in the configuration file. So let us go and let us paste it there. So I'll go back to configuration file and top before declaring a bean, I'll say I'll use a property context colon annotation hyphen config. Yes. Yes, I'm using, guys, context colon annotation config. But hold on, we are getting an error. Yes, but we are getting an error. Why we are getting an error, guys? Yes. So guys, remember in up to Spring 2.5 version, up to Spring 2.5 version, we can configure the Spring using XML only. Up to version 2.5, we can configure the XML. We can configure the XML using, Yeah, we can configure the XML using XML only. From Spring version 3, we can configure the XML, sorry, we can configure the Spring using annotation. So what we have to do, guys, we have to change the schema now. We have to change the schema. So currently you can see in this particular schema, none of the version has been specified. So again, I'll repeat, up to Spring version 2.5, we can perform configuration only using XML. But from Spring version 3 onwards, we can perform configuration by using annotation as well. So what we have to do, just we have to change this schema. If you are using Java 9, Java 10, you will not get this error. But if you will use Java 8, you will get this error. So let me paste the new configuration here. So still we are getting here, let us see now. Still we are getting an error because we have used here P schema. So even we have to declare this P schema, guys. So what you will do, you will just copy this and you will paste here. Instead of context, you will say here P. You will say P here as well. You will say P. Because we have used P schema, guys, you can see. So we have to declare the P schema in this particular schema file. So if you want to use annotation, guys, you have to make use of schema version 3.0. Before 3.0, we cannot. In the sense, after 2.5 onwards, we can use annotation. So basically, this particular, you can say tag is used to activate. It activates all the annotation. It activates all the annotation of strings. Yes, that's it. Now let us go back and execute. We'll see whether the object of certificate has been injected or not. Yes, you can see. This time the object of certificate has been injected to student. But the time you will remove this tag, again this particular object won't be injected. So basically this tag is used to inject or activate the annotation. If you are going to use any annotation, guys, mandatory you have to activate it. You have to enable it. So you can do by that this particular tag. So it will comment this part. You can see the object has not been injected because annotation at the rate Autowired is not active. It's not enabled. Now you can see again it will be injected, guys. Yes. So this is the first, like Autowired we can use. Yes, Autowired we can use just before this particular reference name, or this Autowired can be used. Now guys, if you see the console, you will not get setting the property by using getters and setters, because this time the property has been injected with the help of reference. This time you will not get setting the property by using getters or setters, because we have used Autowired just before the reference. So here object type reference has been injected. Now let us go for Autowired. So I use this Autowired just before the constructor. So this time property should be injected, or object should be injected using constructor. Let us execute. Let's see. Yeah, you can see, guys, injecting the property using constructor. For the last case, for the previous case, it was injected with the help of reference, but this time it has been injected with the help of constructor. So even you can use this particular Autowired before constructor, before the reference, or even you can use before the setter method. Before the setter method. So this time the property will be injected with the help of setter method. Let us execute. Yes, you can see setting the property using setter method. So guys, with the help of Autowired annotation, you can inject the property, or so either you can go for Autowired annotation or you can go for XML. In XML again we have multiple types, but trust me guys, in industry we will use annotation more, so you have to focus on annotation. So guys, just take down one point. Basically this Autowired annotation can be used, it can be used just before reference type, just before name and so on. So just copy down this point, take down Autowiring using annotation, and just copy down these points. Okay, so guys, what I'll do, I'll create two bins here. Yes, I'll create two bin of certificate. So let's say I'll go back to configuration file, and let's say I'll copy paste this part of code, and I'll say here certificate name. This time I'll give Java and J2EE. Let's say Java and J2EE. So for Java and J2EE, max to max, you can say 2 month, 2.0, max to max space 2 month. So name I'll give as a here, I'll give name as 31. Since we are using type internally, it calls the type annotation as well. So if the name is different, not a big deal, guys. 32. Yes, since here whenever we use auto wired annotation internally, it calls type, or you can say type mode will be activated. So I'll give here two bins. I'll give here two bins. Now let us, yeah. Now what I'll do, I'll go to main class. So the certificate thing is not required, so I'll just delete this part. Let us delete this part, guys. Now even this divider is not required. Let us delete. Now if I execute this, guys, then what will happen? Yeah, if I execute, will I get the output, guys? Whether the certificate 1 will be injected here or certificate 2 will be injected, guys. We'll get the output or we'll get the error, guys. Yes. So guys, here you can see we have created two bean. We have created two bean, that is certificate 1 and certificate 2. So here compiler will be confused. That is, I should insert in this particular certi, I should insert certi 1 or certi 2. So here compiler will give you left and right. That is, it will throw an error because your compiler is confused itself. So let us execute this and let's see what error we are getting here. Yes, we will get an error. Let us see this error, guys. So just scroll right side. Let's see. Not found, certificate 2 not found. Okay, just a second, guys. Just a second. Yeah, you can see here. Expected. So here compiler is expecting only one bean. Here compiler is expecting only one bean, but we got here two bean. That's what expecting single matching bean, but found two. So we found here two bean, that is 31 and 32. Yes, so we have at a time we can inject only one bean, guys. At a time we can inject only one object, but we have specified here two bean. That is the reason compiler is confused that I should inject 31 bean inside student or 32 bean inside student. So here you can see just throwing an error, expecting single matching bean, but found two bean here. So this problem can be solved by using an annotation. Even we have to solve this problem by using an annotation. So you have to make use of one annotation, that is @qualifier. You have to make use of one annotation, that is @qualifier. So let us use, so just before this particular object name, you will say @qualifier. And here you have to specify, which bean you want to inject, inside student object. So if you want to inject 31, you will pass here 31, guys. If you want to inject 31, you'll pass here 31. If you want to inject 32, you'll pass here 32. So currently I want to inject 31. So what I'll do, inside this qualifier, we will pass here 31. So basically, this @qualifier is used to remove the auto wiring conflict. Basically, this @qualifier is used to remove that conflict between the bills. So let us execute and see what's happening now. We should not get the error. So currently 31 bean should be injected. So what is 31, guys? You can see we should get here hibernate and strings. Let us execute and see the output, whether we are getting the output or not. Okay, still we are getting the error, guys. Why so? Set 30, no qualifying type 31. This we have to do for this particular, correct. So currently we are using here this type, so we have to pass this here. Yeah, we have to say auto wired with the help of 30, and we have to specify what type of wiring you want. Yes, if you want to perform with the help of setters, then you have to pass this @qualifier in the setter method. If you want to perform with the help of constructor, you have to pass in constructor. Yes, let us execute now and let's see what's happening. Yes, that was the error, I guess. Let us execute. Still we are going to get the error? No error. So guys, you can see we got here hibernate and string. So here 31 bean has been injected inside student. Yes, if you want, you can do same with the help of constructor. So you have to copy these two things for the constructor as well as for the setter. Or if you want to inject 32, so you can pass here 32. So in 32, we know we have something as Java and J2EE, duration is 2.0 months. So if you will execute this now, so this time 32 bean will be injected. 32 bean will be injected. You can see we are getting Java and J2EE and duration is 2.0. So this particular conflict, guys, can be solved by using an annotation, that is @qualifier. So similarly, we have used this @auto wired before the class, before the reference name, before the constructor, before the setter. So even you can use either of the places. You can use just before the constructor, just before like Yeah, just before constructor, just before your setter method, or just before your reference name. So guys, all of you take down one small point regarding @qualifier, and then you can execute this program. Yes, so just take down guys small point regarding @qualifier annotation.